Hey, yo, what up? This is Mark from the Mark Digital Live podcast, produced by Feltzine. I just want to let y'all know, if you really want to support us and keep this shit going, please subscribe and rate this on Apple Podcasts. Like us on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, also just go ahead and search for Feltzine and find our playlist and like that shit too, so you can keep up with all these updates, the music, and the podcast. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Feltzine. That's at Feltzine. You could also find us on Facebook with that same address, Feltzine. Facebook.com/Feltzine. However the fuck you use Facebook. Who even knows anymore? You could also please join our Discord. You can find the Discord link in any one of these podcasts. So if you're listening and you want to join the conversation, if you want to hear it live, if you just want to chat with us about shit, or if you want to ask us a question about the podcast or submit a question or a topic, just come through the Discord and do that. Join us over there. You could also find me at MarkDigitalHD on Twitter and Instagram. So go ahead and follow me there. And yo, thank you for listening. This is the Mark Digital Live podcast. Peace. Speaking of that, we just got this. I was just checking out this crazy stat that I saw. I don't know how true this is. You know, I say every time that I get something, I'm like a 50% believer, but CNBC, pretty credible, you know, is saying that of all the millennials who are millionaires in the United States, 44% of them live in California. So that's a pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting, like within itself, right? Like the fact that there are over 500,000 millennials who are millionaires here in the United States, and then like whatever, almost half of them live in California. I think there's a lot of, you know, interesting reasons for that. Part of it is that in order to have the lifestyle that you would have in most states in America, you pretty much have to be a millionaire in California. So, you know, that you're being a millionaire in California basically affords you the same standard of living as, you know, maybe having like a half or a quarter amount of that money would in pretty much any other state in the United States. But I mean, maybe even any other place in the United States besides the city of New York. I wonder if you included California as a state and then you consider New York State, I wonder how much that percentage would rise. I wonder if it'd be like 3/4 of the millionaires who are millennials live there. But along with that, one of the interesting things that I've also seen today, which was an article which dropped pretty much at the same time on the same day, is an article by our local kind of news channel here in the Bay Area, which is KRON News, KRON. And really, the wild thing is that people really are seeing that there's a huge homelessness surge here in California. And with that, there's actually a strong backlash. People are actually really having a visceral response to the homeless. I mean, they're being called things like financial parasites. People are going back to calling them bums. You know, people are finding ways that they can put up different fences and plants and putting up rocks in the streets, boulders. People are pretty much trying to figure out every way possible that they can make this city more uncomfortable. And I don't even want to say more uncomfortable because that might give a bad perception for people who haven't been here, but less comfortable for the homeless. And to me, these kind of extremes, I think, start to lead to a very scary place for me. I start to think about this idea of like this much type of class inequality is just kind of alarming. I don't buy the narrative necessarily that all of this is about anything, let's say, related to solely financial inequality, right? I think that that's a huge mistake to make, especially when you live here and you work in San Francisco. This is not just about some people are too rich, and that makes it so that people are not just getting kicked out of their houses left and right every day. There is a lot of humanity, I think, in a lot of ways that people don't see. Like, not saying that this is necessarily the best way to handle it, but when people are displaced, they are given new places to live. Like, it's not that, like, it's like, yo, you can't, like, we're going to kick you out the mission and you literally got to sleep on the streets. Like, no, people are just like, those are not even the people who are actually suffering from this mass homelessness and the people who are being called bums. Like, these are actually, like, there's massive amounts of junkies on the street. Like, every single block that you walk in downtown San Francisco has someone on that block who obviously hasn't showered for over 2 weeks. And they reek and they stink. And this is just common shit. Like, when I tell people that on my way to a ball, on my way to a gala on Saturday night, that on the corner of 4th and Market, I saw a woman pull her pants down and pee on the street where everyone could see her bare ass. Little kids were around. This was the middle of the Saturday. This was Saturday night at 6 o'clock, rush hour at 6 o'clock, downtown San Francisco, middle of the city, in the busiest street, where people are walking all around her. These type of things are not even surprising. These type of things are actually considered normal. When I said that to someone, they looked at me, they laughed, and they turned to their friend and says, "Oh my God, we just saw that woman too. She must have kept going up and down the block peeing." It's not like, wow, like, I'm surprised this happened. Damn, that's sad. It's like, oh yeah, I think I saw that person too. And in fact, I think I saw them the other day as well. And then they start describing them. Sad thing is, it wasn't even the same motherfucker. He's a different person. So this is the type of shit that we're dealing with. We have the same city and the same state that is housing millionaires by the hundreds of thousands. Almost 1 out of every 2. If you have millionaires there, you have like anyone would bet their chances on something if they knew it was 44% likely to happen. We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of millionaires in a state where we also, have 8,000 homeless people, maybe more, probably closer to 10,000, because who can possibly report them or share them, just in San Francisco alone. That's not to consider massive homelessness in Oakland, massive homelessness in Berkeley. That's just scary. It's just scary from an objective sense of living in this sort of environment. It feels dangerous in a way. It feels alarming in the sense of thinking about the ways that politicians will take advantage of some shit like this. I don't trust politicians, and I don't trust them to have their hearts in the right places on either side. So when you start talking about taxing, people massively who make over a certain amount to support everyone, but then that sort of support goes to, let's say, homelessness, or creating more housing for those who are homeless, or, severely, financially underserved or underprivileged, however we want to say that. To me, I just worry about what that even looks like, what that even means, and what's actually helpful. Of course, I'm not against anyone getting the help that they need to get, but I am against government waste, and I am against the government putting money back into their own pockets through schemes that seem like they're helping somebody. It just seems like every nonprofit that I've ever seen is strapped for cash and has no money to do anything, but there's huge government budgets that are being carved out for these things all the time. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know. I don't necessarily have solutions for that there. I just thought it was a really interesting, two interesting articles that seem to pair with each other, play off each other in a really kind of interesting way there.